Greetings to you from wherever you're watching us tonight. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, we'll talk about the league tonight on the show. We have a winner, and of course, we'll talk about, well, the things that are left to be taken in the Nigeria Premier Football League. As we go on the show, we'll talk about the Euros, what's happening with the Euros. Portugal are struggling to break down the Czechs. We'll talk about that as we move on the show. We will spend a lot of time talking about the league today. We expect to have two prominent figures in the Nigeria Premier Football League on the show to join us and talk about the things happening with the league that is winding up. All right, so that's the outlook of the show. Well, it's a two-man show. My colleague Austin Okon Akman is suited and ready as we take this trip across the money-spinning world of sports.
What a great things to you, Yemi, and of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Still an action-packed world of sports. We're monitoring what's going on at the Euros in Germany. And what a story. We've already seen some shocking results, the sort of result that we wanted, to get to get into the Euros. That Belgium, and what happened against Slovakia. And of course, the French team, are needing an own goal to beat lowly rated Austria. So that's the Euros. That's football. We'll continue to monitor it. And of course, major talking points from the Nigeria Premier Football League. What a story. The Flying Antelopes, Enugu Rangers are champions. But I'm sure you know there's no season that you crown a champion in Nigeria that will not get talking points. So we'll talk about it tonight on the show.
All right. So very interesting. The drama is always there. And of course, we'll talk about all of that on the show tonight. All right. Let me quickly introduce our guest in the Lagos studio, all for you. Damlola Olifade joins us now. Greetings to you, Damlola. It's good to have you join us on a day where so much to talk about.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Yemi, to make a comeback on sport tonight. And it's such a good time for, as far as the NPFL is concerned. I think to have Rangers win, it's such a refreshing one for me. And despite the story of the last few weeks that didn't do the league any good, but at least finally we have what I would call a worthy champion for this year.
All right. There are still some bits and pieces. Two teams to confirm their relegation. There's still, although that's going to be via the President's Cup, the team that will get a continental slot. So do you see anything changing, or we can just say this is week 37 and nothing's going to change even with the last matches, the last game that will be played over the weekend?
A lot depends on how some of the teams will line out. I think there is still a possibility of a little switch for the continental places. Rangers have taken one slot of the two slots that is available. Okay, we have three slots available in the league. So you have Remo in the mix, you have Eyimba, you have Shooting Stars.
In the mix.
I think those...
in between them?
In between them, it will go. It's difficult for me to pick one now. But if you ask me, from the one that I think for consistency all season, I will more or less favor Remo at least to pick one of the slots, preferably the Champions League place. I think they've earned it. They've been very consistent. Shooting prep up much later in the season. I think where they are now, and this is not me saying they don't deserve to be on the continent, but I think where they are now is a lot of credit to the effort they've put in. Eyimba has neither be here nor there. I think the only reason why Eyimba is where they are now is their lack of consistency this season. If they've shown a bit more consistency, we shouldn't be at the point where we are still debating whether they have a slot nailed down for the continent or not. So that's why I said I think we have a worthy champion, because it's been a season that has been a true reflection of the effort that the teams have really put in.
All right, let me just quickly go across the screen and take a look at Saturday's results. And, of course, Damilola alluded to some of these things. I'm going to reel out the results and yield back to Austin if there's anything that surprised him over the weekend. But, of course, we can confirm to you that we already have a champion after match day 37. All right, Heartland winning at home to Niger Tornadoes. Katsina United defeating Doma United. 2-0. Lobby Stars edged it against Kwara United 4-3. Plateau United and Kano Pillars share of the spoils in that one. It was 1-1. Of course, Rivers United hammered already relegated Gombe United 6-0. Results from Saturday. On Sunday, Abia Warriors defeated Aqua United. I really like us to talk about this one. All right. Aqua United defeated, Abia Warriors defeated Aqua United 2-0. Bayelsa United defeated Shooting Stars 2-1. A draw in this game probably would have changed the dynamics for them. Rangers International didn't take their foot off the pedal, defeated Bernard Insurance 2-0. The Akure Gunners, talking about Sunshine Stars, defeated Remo Stars 2-1. And of course, Sporting Lagos beat the Aba Elephants, the one we call Ayimba 2-1. Austin, let me quickly come to you while we're waiting for those prominent figures. We talk about any surprises in the results that you have seen. And I really like you to comment about Aqua United. Do you think they're going to escape the drop?
I was making Alfred, a colleague who had called me today to talk about Aqua United and what I think. And I said, if that final day match is against Manchester City, Aqua United is condemned to win it, just so they can stay in the league. I think they need just a draw to get by. But if there's anything that got me talking after those round of matches on Matchday 37, it's the fact that all of the teams that needed to win, that were away, they didn't win. Remo Stars, Aqua United, Shooting Stars, Eimba, Doma, and even to an extent, Kano Pillars, they didn't win. Kwara United, by the way, I like them. They put up a good fight against Lobby Stars. But if you check it, you can tell that now we are in the business end of the season. So teams cannot afford to drop points. And that's one team right there that needed to do everything they can to win. Sporting Lagos, when they took on Eimba, that game ended 2-1. Sporting Lagos need to win their next match, to see if they can be safe. So that was just about what it is. And you could tell that the fans in Lagos, they are beginning to lose some hope because I was expecting that stadium to be filled up and then they scared Eimba to victory. But despite, the crowd or the turn-up, these guys had to do the job to stay relevant, and it was just good enough result, beating Eimba 2-1. Shooting Stars, that's another team again, and I really wanted them to, get us talking. They have done well, but, wrap it up properly. And against Bayelsa United, they failed also by 2-1. Aqua United, if they had gotten something, even a draw against Abia Warriors, we'll be saying a different story. But they couldn't win against Abia Warriors. They lost by 2-0. Remo Stars, I knew the Southwest Derby was going to be difficult, particularly if you take a look at where Sunshine Stars is on the table and what they have tried to show that they cannot, be struggling at this stage. They did a job done against Remo Stars to win 2-1. So basically, aside Rangers that got the job done and got everybody talking, I think all of the teams that played at home that needed to win won, and none of the teams that played away that needed to win also got a win. So it's one that shows that the home teams were dominant, and for obvious reasons, it's Matchday 37. You cannot afford to start dropping points at home.
Yeah, definitely. You can afford to start dropping points. Before I get Damila's thoughts on these matches, let's quickly situate things by looking at the top four and the bottom four. It's easy to make predictions now. Just one game left for most of the teams now. So the top four looks like this. You have, bottom four. Well, let's start with the bottom four. The teams that have the HAR. All right. Let's start with the top four then. Rangers International crowned champions. After 37 matches, they have 67 points, goal difference of 22. Remo Stars, of course, following in second with 62 points, followed by Eimba and Shooting Stars. Let me stay on this for a while, Damilola. Of course, Rangers, untouchable, that's why they are champions. But Damilola, you're looking at this table. It could still go either way. This is the bottom four. Sporting Lagos, Doma United, Heartland, and Gombe United Heartland and Gombe are confirmed to have been relegated. You have Sporting and Doma. Doma United still have a game in hand, so we'll see what happens with Doma. Sporting, Lagos, I don't know. I'll ask Dabilola later on what he feels about them. But Dabilola, let me come to you quickly. You talked about it earlier, and you said it's difficult because anything could still happen. You could say shooting are not in it, but what if those two teams lose their games? So mathematically, but I think it's easier for Remo Stars and Enyimba to pick the remaining 2 slots. Just a draw probably nicks it away from shooting.
Yeah, of course it's easier. I think the 3 of them will be playing at home this weekend. They played away last weekend. So it's easier for them. Shooting Stars will have to take some comfort if they don't get it, with the fact that it's been a while that they've been here. And at some point this season, I'm not sure anybody even thought they'll be this close to getting a place on the continent. So credit to the effort of the coach, Ogumbote, and the players, and maybe to some extent the management giving them the right support, environment to also get the job done. But I said it earlier, it's a lot more easier for Remo and Enyimba, and my heart goes to Remo Stars getting the Champions League place. Confederation is also a place on the continent, but there is the glamour that comes with the Champions League, and my heart goes to Remo Stars, because I think that aside Rangers in that top 4, I think they've been the more consistent side than Enyimba or Shooting Stars. So I may be a gain for Enyimba. I think their early season poor form, I will put it, because they got out of the Champions League. I think that in a way they didn't start the way you expect the defending champion of the Nigerian League to start, and but theirs is probably even better than Rivers United. Where they are finishing the season. So I think that's it for Sporting Lagos. It will be a major disappointment both for the team and the Lagos fans, because you will have thought that now that Ikorodu City is coming to the league, we'll have had a Lagos derby next season. I was looking forward to that. So for that reason, if you permit me, I'm doing all the fasting and prayer I can for Sporting Lagos to stay up. But
permutations-wise, probability, percentages, what would you say about the chances of Sporting escaping the draw?
Their chances are almost like less than 10%. Well, wow. Really, less than 10%. They've not shown enough for me to trust that they would win. Although they shocked me last weekend, because I never thought they would beat Enyimba. That's the truth. I never thought they would beat Enyimba because of the importance of the 3 points to Enyimba. I never thought they would win. So if they can do that again this weekend, maybe. But I give that to a 10% chance of happening.
All right, let me yield to Austin. Dabilola is saying the chances of Sporting escaping the drop is as good as 10%. I will go a bit higher, say maybe 20. I don't know what your take is on that. A lot of people would have loved to keep the Lagos teams in the league. But of course, it's a result-based sport. And so it's merit-based, actually. So you have to be winning your games and doing the right things. So would you be saying 10% or slightly higher?
I would say slightly higher, but not at the expense of Aqua United, because they're both tied up for the 6 points. So they are going away. Aqua will be at home. Bayelsa United will be away. Bayelsa United is on 47 points. I don't know if Niger Tornadoes have escaped it also, because if they don't win their match, then there's a possibility that they can also drop. So it's between Aqua United and Sporting Lagos. And yeah, that's about it, because Doma is on 43 points. So if Doma wins their game, then we go to 46 points. So that can almost do nothing for them. So it's between Aqua United and Sporting Lagos. Now, Aqua United, as I said, they've gone away, they've lost. Sporting Lagos did their job by beating Enyimba to get to 46 points. The next game and final game, they must win it. So if they don't win it and Aqua United goes on to win, then they will drop. If Bayelsa United picks a draw at home, they will survive if Sporting Lagos don't win. So let me follow Dabilola now and say it's very low, because if you take a look at it and particularly the way they've played all season going away. Sporting Lagos hasn't been convincing. So if you do the permutations, they actually put themselves into this mess because they understood the objective from the start. I remember on the show we listened to Coach Paul Okafor, and he said it clearly that they need to improve this season. They need to do what they have to do to stay in the league. But right now it's very tough. But it's not just them. Doma United was a very decent team last season. They are fighting the drop now. Aqua United, champions 3 seasons ago. Can you ever believe it? Can you imagine it? The Aqua United will be in this situation. There's also Heartland that just came back and then they have gone back. There's Gombe United that used to be a tricky traditional NPFL team. That tells you how competitive the league is back home in Nigeria. So on the final day, I just pray that we're just going to see clean football. We will not serve football that at the end of the day, cut papers will be flying around and people will be throwing around allegations because the game is fair play. We already have it what happened between Eimba and Rangers. Rangers are champions, but Eimba is not saying congratulations because they still feel like that game that happened in Enugu didn't go right. So I'm just hoping that on this final day, particularly the cost of, staying in the league and going on the continent, that teams will understand, particularly administrators, that the game is fair play. It's not do or die. Aqua United, if you get relegated, yes, it will hurt your fans, but you didn't do the right thing all season. So you need to drop and start again and know what it means to stay relevant. So I just hope we'll see clean football and let the best teams stay in the league. Let the best teams qualify for the continent. And it all gets to be for the glory of football development in Nigeria.
Let the best team, even if it is not Aqua United.
Yes, now for now, yeah. I just think I just have to say that it's painful. Yes, it's painful that they put themselves and their fans in this situation. But yes, let the best team win. But they are in good position. They are playing at home. You've been terrible all season. You need to win this game to stay in the league. So if they bottle it, then it's all on them. The fans will understand that, look, this team doesn't want to play for us anymore. They told us they are the promise keepers. But this time around, they didn't keep the promise.
All right. I just had to throw that in. Let me go to you. We're about to go on a break, but let me give this. I know I should have given you more time to think about it, but I'm asking you now anyway, and I have the opportunity to ask you. After seeing 37 sets of matches across all teams, I know Rangers are champions, but which team would you say, if you were allowed to pick, for this reason, this team is my team of the season?
Now you're not being fair.
I should have given you more time.
You're not being fair. I think I like the look of Rangers, and that's not because they won. With Ilechukwu, I mean, he has built a track record for himself from his days at MFM. The team play very robust, attacking football, and the results are showing. I mean, at MFM, you wouldn't say he failed. He went to Plateau United, also pushed the other team and was also on the verge of winning the league. Finally, I think the only place he actually struggled would be at Heartland, and for obvious reasons, financial largely. And then now he's at Rangers, so the support is there and he has won. I also think I'm impressed with the way Shooting Stars came back into the league at some point.
But obviously your first pick is Rangers.
Definitely Rangers.
I'll yield the floor to Austin. He's had much time to think about it. And so I'm very sure he has an answer now. And after seeing 37 games, which team would he say? I know Rangers are champions. Anybody could easily say, oh, well, the Flying Antelopes, Rangers. But what would be Austin's pick?
It's definitely Shooting Stars. I've been waxing lyrical about that team and how they turned it around in the second stanza of the league. I love the competition they brought into the top 4. They didn't just make it look like it was just about Rangers, Eimba, Remo Stars, and to an extent it was Lobby Stars. They knocked Lobby Stars off, and they'll be saying to themselves, if they had been about 60% okay in the first stanza, then maybe Shooting Stars will be champions. And Christian Piagbara picked form when they needed him. This second stanza has been on fire. Even their last game, he scored away again. So for me, it's Shooting Stars. For a team that struggled when they got back, and now they're seeing the need to stay relevant. We need all of our big traditional teams in the league to come out there and prove a point. Now, Rangers too, they've come back with some prominence. You see, they've looked at it like they shouldn't be the sort of team that people are ridiculing. They put a bit of branding into it. They put a lot of seriousness outside the pitch into it. Now, if you join it, that's the power of branding. It's 360. That's what made it for Rangers. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm still studying to see what gave Shooting Stars this spark, aside from Benga or Gumbote's influence. But if you check it, the Oluyole Warriors, they picked up. The fans are loving it again. So now, just imagine how important and competitive the league would be if we get the best teams playing for Nigeria on the continent. Rangers, they're on fire. Aimba is as good as they've always been. Now, Shooting Stars is coming back into the mix. It's very good because when the media starts talking about this team, they go way back when they used to be called ICC of Ibadan. Oh, they have this star. Oh, they produced the great mathematical Segun Odegbami. We love those sort of history to help our football. It will educate the younger generation to see where we've been coming with our football and where we should take it to. So for me, it's Shooting Stars. I'm tempted to even say congratulations to them because we know how they suffered last season and now they are here. It's fantastic for their football. It's good for the development of league football in Nigeria also.
All right, we promised you earlier that we're going to have some prominent figures in Nigeria Premier Football League join us on the show. We have the pleasure of having, of course, the general manager of the Flying Antelopes, of course, Rangers International, in the person of Amobi Ezeaku. He joins us now. Greetings to you. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. I'm happy to be here tonight.
All right. I think I should first start by saying congratulations. Rangers are champions, and all your efforts have yielded the results. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's a thing of great delight for all of us at Rangers. We are grateful to God. The efforts paid off. We look forward to a greater future for the club, both on the domestic front and on the continent. We hope to continue to stick to our laid down strategic plan, which we announced in August last year, which we run for 4 years. So I feel so glad and I give all thanks to God.
All right, let me throw this in. And by the way, my colleague Austin Okon Akpan will be throwing in some in-swingers as well. He has his own set of questions. But let me just say this. Now you're champions. It's easy to say that, yeah, I expected this and all that. But at the beginning of the season, were you expecting that Rangers were going to win? Were you very optimistic? Everybody goes into a competition wanting to win. But seriously, did it cross your mind that, yeah, this season could be ours?
Of course, but then I have to say that we didn't want to overburden our souls with winning the league. When we laid out our strategic plan under the sporting excellence angle, we challenged ourselves to either win the President's Cup or the Nigerian Premier Football League trophy. Be that as it may, the coach was not under any order to win any of these, but our strategic plan was clear. We want to be excellent off the pitch. We want to be excellent on the pitch. Currently, we have a very young team. We are still building this team, notwithstanding the fact that we've won the league. We are still building. We are looking at the mentality of the player, the ability of the players to understand they are playing for a very big club and they have to fight to defend the badge and to represent the people who support this club. So when we started last year, remember we tagged it a new era because we came back from nearly going on relegation to rebranding the club, being visible on social media and all that. So we didn't really bother about winning the league. But somehow God felt, okay, these people are putting in a lot. Let's just make them happy with this, and we have it.
Amobi, good to have you join us on the show, and congratulations to you and your team. This is, I was trying to describe it today, and I had to fall on, this is truly what hard work means, and you guys have reaped it. You came in, we saw good branding, you had social media presence, the team started playing spirited football, you have a good coach in Fidelis Ilechukwu. Is Rangers truly back, Amobi, or this is just a flash in the pan?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the governor of the state, Dr. Peter Mbai, is concerned, as far as the people who work with me in Rangers today are concerned, this is not a flash in the pan. It could have been a flash in the pan if we didn't announce our strategic plan. And I believe you've seen our strategic plan for 4 years. And we go back to this plan every now and then. Yesterday, we were in a meeting, the scouting and technical meeting ahead of the CAF Champions League. We've laid out plans for the present and for the future. And God's willing, we will continue to be obedient to these plans, to these strategies. And because we understand that all over the world in football, due adherence to your strategic plan would definitely pay positively. We are not going to deviate from these plans. I tell you, as we speak, on Thursday, we are going to have another meeting with our stewards at 3 p.m. ahead of the new season, ahead of the CAF Champions League. If it's a flash in the pan, we will all go to bed. I was in the office on Monday at 9 a.m. We won the league on Sunday, but I went to work. Coach Fidelis Ilechukwu was there. The scouting director was there. So we want to build, we want to have an institution that is very strong. And we want to have a Rangers that can compete with the Al-Ahlis, the Zamaleks, and possibly compete at the Club World Cup. We see these things all over the world. Why can't we do it at home? I think we can, and that's why I listened to you talking about Shooting Stars and what they are doing. I'm so happy. I'm so delighted that clubs in Nigeria are beginning to see the other side of competitiveness, not just on the pitch, but also off the pitch, with respect to us, societal, engagement. If you look at our strategic plan, the third arm of the Rangers Trinity is community social impact. And some weeks ago, we announced the Rangers Foundation, comprising of top Nigerians like Ato Eze, Patience Ozokwo, and the rest, JJ Okocha. If it's a flash in the pan, we won't involve all these people. We want to continue to build on the current momentum. We want to continue to build on what we've been able to achieve within the last 8 months. And I tell you again, the governor continues to challenge all of us. He wants a world-class team, and by the special grace of God, we are going to deliver on that mandate.
Amobi, I like what you guys again did with the season, and I like that you're not going to sleep. With what you've seen, let's identify the problems. What are some of the challenges that we're facing with league football in Nigeria that can slow down the efforts of Rangers?
Well, I love to look at the positives. And what is this positive? The fact that the fans are enjoying the game. The major challenge would have been the idea of hooliganism, fans coming on board to spoil your game. But we also have a way out. What's the way out? Engaging the fans. Fan fests, halftime shows, and all of this. I don't want to talk about the political angle, with respect to certain external interferences. We are lucky here at Rangers that the governor particularly, understands that he wants to work with administrators, people who are grounded in sports administration, people who understand the history of the club and who are passionate about the club. So I look majorly at the positive aspect. The name Rangers opens multiple doors. So we'll capitalize on that. For now, what are the challenges? Just little things that we want to even make massive, make significant. They shouldn't be made significant. Club licensing criteria, stick to this. Make sure that your infrastructure criteria, you adhere to this, your personnel administrative criteria, your legal criteria, the financials, you keep to all this. And when you do this, you go to bed happy.
I'll give it to Yemi just right after this question, Amobi, because we'll have you on the show. It will be good for you to say it. You're champions. Congratulations. What happened in that game against Eimba? How could it have been avoided?
Yeah, again, I know you read my statement after the game. Apologies for all of those dying minute drama. But I tell you, against Bendel Insurance, we corrected that. Ticketing was done almost miles away from the stadium. The searches were done away from stadium. Entry gates were not overburdened. And then the stewards were up and doing. I had a meeting with the police, the man in charge of the police. You could see almost similar crowd, but the only difference between the Enyimba game and the Bendel Insurance game, the Bendel Insurance supporters did not come to the cathedral. So if they had come to the cathedral, it would have been a different ball game. We would have deployed more stewards and more security to the away team stand. And people keep talking about this issue without asking what really started this whole fracas. You could see the intrusion. Where was this intrusion coming from? Look, I can see on the screen from the away team supporters stand. But how do you avoid some of this? These supporters were not even ticketed at the end of the day, because in pre-match meetings you say, okay, reciprocity, you are giving them access because they gave you access when you came, and then we never believed they were going to be that unruly. But again, looking at the positives, they came, the stadium was full to the brim. The correction is, next time you must communicate with the Enyimba side, or if it's an Oriental derby, let me not say Enyimba. If it's an Oriental derby, communicate with the other club officials, beef up your security, do proper search. Because I tell you, I was also surprised to see the objects. And I kept asking the people at the gate, what did you guys do? As I speak to you, we are still investigating some of the breaches. Because, okay, we've been fined 5 million. People could say, yeah, it's just 5 million. But it's not about the fine. It's about the integrity of our league. It's about the integrity of our football. And when I speak about this, I speak about this with so much passion, because I think we have all it takes to do the right thing. And if you've done everything humanly possible within your powers, and then something goes wrong, then when you render an apology, people will accept this. If the Bendel Insurance game had gone wrong and we render an apology, do you know that every Saturday at 4 p.m. we have our steward rehearsals? The Saturday before the Enyimba game, we had over 98 stewards. They left everything they were doing on Saturday and they came with the police. We did this rehearsal. But we didn't expect what we saw. That's the truth. You know, the fans threw in. When we were supposed to stop admitting people, we kept admitting people. At a time when the gate was supposed to be locked, they pushed down the gate. The people pushed down the gate. And that's what you see when you play big games like that. But for the dying minute incident, it was beautiful, you know. People were already talking about it. Rangers and Enyimba were already trending on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, positively, until that penalty incident, until the away team supporters decided to come onto the pitch. Juxtapose what happened on the 9th of June with what we saw 3 days ago against Bendel Insurance. You will see that we've already got it right.
All right. Amobi Ezeku, General Manager of Rangers International. I want to thank you for your time on the show. And once again, congratulations. And of course, wishing you all the best.
You are most welcome. Happy to be here.
All right, so speaking with the general manager of Rangers International. To conclude this discussion on Nigerian football, let's quickly take a look at the President's Cup. Of course, talk about the men and the women. I'll go across, just quickly take a look at it. I'll reel it out. And of course, we use the remaining minutes we have to talk about the Euros. But first, let me go across quickly and talk about this one. Of course, tomorrow, let's start with the ladies' quarterfinal fixtures. Nazareth Amazons up against Remo Stars. Ladies, Nigeria Reitals up against FC Robo Queens. Delta Queens up against Sunshine Queens. Osun Babes up against Rivers Angels. I almost said United. Rivers Angels. All right. This is for the women. Let's talk about the guys now, quickly. Semi-final fixtures. Kebbi United up against El Kanemi Warriors. Abia Warriors up against Kano Pillars. We're not going to be talking about what's going to happen in these games because we are out of time. But let's go to the Euros, and I'm going to yield the floor to Austin. What's happening with Portugal? And of course, let's talk about the first game in the day before we look at what has happened in the past. Let's start with today, Austin. Portugal struggling before we came into the studio. Of course, was difficult for them against the Czechs. Has anything changed? Okay, and so this is what happened earlier. Turkey defeating Georgia 3-1. So this was the first one. But let me go to Austin. As Cristiano Ronaldo and the guys in the Seleção found a way past the Czechs.
Portugal won, Czech Republic won. It was the Czech that scored a stunning goal through Lucas Provod in the 62nd minute, and they kept pushing and pushing. Portugal was just trying to see if they can get the ball, hold on to it, confuse the Czechs, break them, and come back into the game. And they were able to do that when Robin Radnak scored an own goal. So it was an own goal that brought Portugal back into it. At the moment, they are still fighting. They are pushing. We're in the 82nd minute. It's second minute, so it can go anywhere now. But I tell you, I like the way the Czechs have come into this one. Not just the Czechs today. If you check from yesterday, I mean, teams are beginning to say, look, just as we're seeing in African football, European football is also looking that way. Georgia did push all the way today against a decent Turkish side. Austria did their bit yesterday against the French team. Belgium, who would have thought that they would lose to Slovakia? But I like what the Czech Republic are doing. They've approached this one with care. That's the kind of football they're playing. And then when they get an opportunity to run at Portugal, they do that. It's got a stunning goal. But for that own goal, they should have been, holding on to that lead. But this is football where anything can happen. It's the third minute now. Let's monitor it. There's so much to be played because 7 minutes, you can still see 2 goals in football. But at the moment, it's Portugal 1, Czech Republic 1.
Dabla, let me come to you quickly. I saw for the 5 minutes, Portugal, the Czechs, and I thought, my thoughts, I'm not a coach, I thought the formation in trying to accommodate all these guys, Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, Rafael Leo, Pepe, Ruben Diaz, in trying to accommodate all of these guys, they look flat. They played a 3-4-3. Bruno Fernandes played in midfield. And so you imagine what happens if he goes up, loses the ball, probably just leaving Vitinha to chase the game. And he explains why they're struggling in this game.
It's the biggest challenge when you have this lot of players coming at a particular time. The biggest task for the coach then becomes not necessarily the execution of the game plan, but the balance of the team, really.
And you have to make sacrifices.
And most times coaches struggle with that, especially when you're dealing with big egos. Because none of the names you've mentioned will be dropped. I will take it lightly. None of them, irrespective of... if you do it and the team is doing well, even the fans are happy. But if you do it and the team is not getting the result, the fans will come at you as well. So it's always a dilemma for the coach to find a balance. But I think it's the first game. The good thing is hopefully they will not lose. And then he can quickly rethink the process. Now, if this game ends 1-1 and he makes changes in the second game, nobody will question that decision. Nobody will question that decision. So that gives him, he still has 2 games to make a decision. And I think Portugal will qualify, no doubt about that.
It's a 2014 tournament, so.
Take out the names. They are not one of my own favorites to win. So, but I see them going as far as
by the way, which team is your favorite to win? England?
My favorite to win is England. Second favorite is France. That's easier for me to answer.
I never thought a day would come.
come.
I never thought a day would come. Somebody would say England is a favorite. All right. Wednesday's matches. I don't know if Austin would like that statement, but anyway, he has a chance for a rebuttal. All right. Group A fixtures. Tomorrow, Germany will take on Hungary. Scotland takes on Switzerland. Croatia, smart team from that heavy loss to the Spaniards, will be up against Albania. All right. So let me allow Austin say 18 or 2. I think we're pressed for time, but your thoughts and respond to Damilola's choice of words. I never considered England to be favorites anyway.
England, and I told you the last time on this show that give them a chance. For instance, I see Nigerian media, everybody saying, "Oh, England started so slow. They were poor against Serbia," and I said, "Guys, calm down." They played a very compact Serbian team. That's a team that is filled with 6-foot giants.
Yeah.
And they were able to get the job done. Look at how France struggled. Look at how Belgium fell, So football is tricky. So if Damilola is saying, look, I've looked at this English team, I think they went on current form. I think there's humility in the team now because they were so close to winning it the last time. And they didn't. There must be some lessons learned in there for them. Yes, maybe. Just maybe they can do it. Look at the Portuguese team. Names everywhere. Stars. They took off Rafael now and then brought in Diego Jota. Names, big names everywhere. Bernardo Silva, Cristiano Ronaldo, Diogo Dallo, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, Cancelo, Ruben Dias, Pepe, Nuno Mendes. Names everywhere. Even goalkeeper. They are struggling against the Czech Republic team. That's football for you, Yemi. So I can't come out now and say England will win. People will come for me at the end of the day if nothing happens. But I think they are favorites also. You can't take that away from them to go all the way. So let's see them in their second and third game. Then we can understand where the competition is going. Germany did their bit against Scotland in the opening game. They will go against Hungary, which is a very decent team also. Let's see how they will play. By the time teams play their second and third matches, then we can come now and do proper analysis. This is just the opening round where teams don't have much information about their opponent, so it can actually just go anywhere. But we must give kudos to Gareth Southgate and his team. Serbia is a very difficult team to play. I can say it all day, every day. Those guys are big. Television don't show us everything. That English team would have received knocks. They would have received blows. They would have been given elbows here and there, and they survived it, So you never know. France might come out now, Mbappe, and what happened with his nose might not be effective again. And when there's no Mbappe, there's probably no French team. So I think I've done enough to let you know that Damilola Onifade might just be right. It's not my opinion. So, but let the best team win. We're enjoying the tournament already. Football is back again. And we'll continue to do just that. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, it's a wrap in the city of Lagos. Before we go, I want to thank Damilola Onifade for his time on the show today.
Pleasure always.
Hopefully we'll do this some other time. That's a promise on live TV. All right, that's the show. We do hope you've enjoyed everything we were able to do today. We'll be back here again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.